Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Three Guys and a Bear and a Dog Talk About Football. This week, we are not doing any silly Rob sounds in honor of what happened yesterday. And just kind of, almost like a moment of silence type thing, and just hoping that, he's okay and everything turns out all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's terrifying, man.
Yeah,
this is like the announcers went at length about it. This is something that I've never seen before in this sport. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
So I mean, we record these on Tuesdays, so you guys will
very
probably
fresh.
have more info by the time you listen to it. But as it stands now, Hamlin is still in the hospital. We don't really know anything other than he's in critical condition still, and we're all hoping that he pulls through by the time you guys hear this, hopefully.
Yeah. So it's just a shitty situation. It seemed like it was just kind of a freak accident. We were kind of talking about how this, we don't actually know like the specific details yet, right? But people assume it's the thing where you get hit in the heart. What's it called? Cardiac
commotio cordis.
Yeah,
that thing. Yeah.
So it's like it's happened in like hockey and soccer and baseball. Like that kid in baseball, he like died from it because he got hit in the heart by the ball, like a line drive, and just stopped his heart.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's just that type of really shitty, like coincidental thing to happen, like kind of a freak accident type thing.
Yeah, but
sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say, but as Krendor was alluding to, important to note, especially because we're recording this on Tuesday. Even that I've seen around a lot, but it's still speculation at this point. We don't know. I mean, that it's the kind of thing that the doctors, treating him yesterday would have probably went into the room thinking maybe, and who knows what happened after, right? So
yeah, as it stands now, the official statement is just cardiac arrest. They managed to get his heart beating again at some point through the use of CPR and I believe a defibrillator.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all we know.
Just for the sake of actually stating it out loud for anybody who may not know, Damar Hamlin of the Bills was tackled in seemingly a pretty normal play. That's what's freaking me out the most.
Yeah,
is that it just seems so standard.
Yeah, we talked about violent hits, and it was one of the least violent hits you can really have.
It was the kind of hit that's basically on every tackle in every play of the game. So that's the scariest part.
Like people are saying though, it's just the situation of exactly what happened and like where he was hit, and it just triggered this cardiac arrest. So he underwent cardiac arrest on the field, underwent CPR for 9 minutes. And had his heartbeat restored on the field. And it's just as scary as it sounds. It's horrifying. Like this sort of thing has happened before, but like so a player, like not to get incredibly morbid about it already, but a player has died on the field. That's something that has happened in the NFL. In fact, it used to happen in terrifying frequency. We go back to like the 50s before safety was really actually even a factor. Like this game was very deadly
before the forward pass. That was one of the reasons that they made the forward pass. I remember reading Teddy Roosevelt talking about football with the forward pass, and they thought it would make the game too soft. Because but they were having
Teddy Roosevelt thing.
But that was in the 20s, and they were they were running flying V formations every play, and they had 20 people die a year, like
oh my god,
more than that. It was
absolutely ridiculous, and of course
it's a very dangerous sport.
By modern standards, we have increased player safety quite a bit, especially when compared, but
it's a safer game, but it's still clearly not safe.
Yeah. It's inherently violent.
Yeah, there's only so much you can, like, people are going to get injured, like, no matter what. When you have, like, especially now where you have, like, fully, like, muscled out dudes that that's what they do. They just work out, like, they're pure muscle just hitting each other.
And it is their job to hit you as hard as they fucking can.
Like,
Yeah.
and I don't think we fully understand that. I don't think until I saw all of this going down that I like fully comprehended how scary it is to be on an NFL field as a player. Like,
Yeah.
that is
stand next to an NFL player in
Yeah.
real life, and then
Right.
you will immediately just be scared just because they're huge. You see them on TV all the time, so you don't really get that sense. But if you go meet an NFL player, they are huge. They
Joey
are the
Bosa's
biggest,
thigh is
strongest
the
humans.
size of my head, and that guy's coming at me full speed with violence in his mind. You know, like that is.
And to
That is
that
terrifying.
point too, like as we were pointing out, the thing that's kind of, especially terrifying about this is it wasn't
wasn't
like
a
a
violent
Troy
hit.
Polamalu, running downhill at 25 miles an hour into a dude's chest. It was a normal tackle, like a quote unquote normal tackle, right, in the NFL. And
Right.
we see that there are serious consequences here. And to your point too, of like the last time, I have his Wikipedia page open. The last player that died in the NFL was Chuck Hughes in 1971. Kind of similar.
Wasn't that
situation.
it was a similar thing, right? Yeah, I thought so. Where he was
kind of
just happened to
similar,
be-
but yeah, we were reading about it before the podcast started, and he had basic. It seems like he had like a heart attack because he had arteriosclerosis, and he like walked back to the huddle and collapsed. And unfortunately, they didn't get his heart beating again, and he died on the field there. But I think one of the things that is kind of not I think something that's messed up about this whole situation is that Damar Hamlin did die on the field.
Yeah,
Like,
technically.
He's in the hospital right now, but he died. I mean, that's I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like that in the NFL.
Yeah, because isn't the whole point of CPR is to like keep the brain oxygen?
To keep
like,
oxygen in the brain,
Yeah.
Because every second that passes with the brain not having oxygen is potential a severe damage.
Yeah.
Because they have to restart the heartbeat. That's actually like I was reading about people talking about this, and they were like, I took a CPR class once. I saw a story of saying like, the thing is, if you're worried about hurting them, they're already dead. Once you're starting the CPR, so
CPR is inherently very violent too. Like it is a proper CPR. Like you're right. It's intended to be a last resort kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as the people on ESPN said, I mean, if you were watching the game, as well. You didn't have to see what happened. You didn't have to watch the play to know. You just they were showing players' faces, and
I still haven't seen the play.
I haven't either.
I'm terrified to watch it.
I don't want to watch it. Even though it is supposedly extremely minor, it's just not something I care
minor,
to see.
but it's still
It's
graphic
just the context,
because
man.
because he gets up and then falls down, and it's still it's very graphic. And we didn't even that was the thing that you guys were talking about with the players. They kept showing the players' faces all night, which I don't know. I felt to be pretty insensitive, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, they were watching their teammate, again, die on the field here. I mean, that's
we're now in a very to get this towards football, because we are going to talk about the games this week.
Try
obviously.
to,
To swing it towards a more football and the conversation that's starting to happen now. Obviously, people didn't want to talk about this yesterday or even like early today because just out of respect. But now the conversation is starting of like, what are we going to do about this now? The players' health aside, which is still the most important thing. The NFL has a shitstorm to deal with now, and I don't envy them. This is a bad thing for tons of reasons, but now it has like definitely screwed everything up for the following week. I mean, you cannot expect any of these Bills players or even the Bengals players to that point to play anytime soon. You have no right. No one has a right to force them to play football.
certainly not
this
5
week
minutes
or next
afterwards.
like, I don't even want to do this show right now.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's
It
what
feels
I'm
weird.
looking at. It feels
We-
weird. It feels wrong.
We had this discussion privately in our Discord that we weren't sure if we were going to do, because this is it's both unprecedented in our lifetimes, but also like this is a person who's in serious danger right now.
Like nothing else matters anymore, dude. Like who fucking cares what happens this season? Who cares? Like a dude actually died. Like Rob said, a dude who might still die. It might have died by the time this fucking airs. Like it is fucking cosmically fucked up.
Yeah, it's And to Apollo's point too, I mean, besides game stuff, no matter what happens here, this is a huge flashpoint event for the NFL. People outside of the world of football are again now talking publicly about player safety. And hey, look, I mean, we on this podcast for the past several years, we have constantly, banged on about player safety, and I don't know. I
in particular,
we specifically multiple weeks this week have said someone is going to die. Like as ominous as that is, we've said that multiple times this week.
Yeah, and there was another.
It's gonna happen.
And we'll end up talking about it, but there was another injury thing that happened in this week too, which was horrifying. And I mean, look, I know that I've brought this up before, and I partially play it up as a joke and stuff, but I am really in part not kidding in that I think that the protection that they're wearing is inadequate. It compared to the kind of punishment that their bodies are taking on a regular basis, I don't know. I think they need to. I think that's beyond changing some rules. I think that's another thing that needs to have some. If they're going to continue to play this game, and they will, because it makes a lot of money, right? And people are going to keep getting into things like this.
It's a big reevaluation point. Like we know the NFL, we know that there is a chance that they just do nothing. Like that is there's a possibility, but it is a point where they're now going to have to, regardless of whether they want to or not, reevaluate what they do for player safety, whether it's equipment, rules, teachings, how to tackle, all sorts of stuff. Like that is now going to happen throughout this entire next year of the off season. It is going to be a huge focal point.
Because I mean, it's still like you're still gonna have injuries. Like you're never gonna get rid of injuries when you're doing a contact sport. I mean, people fight. Like there's UFC and stuff. Like it's just some people they also enjoy that. Like that's what they like. I just want to fight. I just want to hit and do all that. But like there are definitely ways you can limit. Like for example, the kickoff thing. Like I feel like I remember hearing kickoffs are the most injured plays, or like the play people get injured on. In fact, I think this might have been a kickoff return. I
don't remember.
It was T. Higgins, right? So I think it was just a regular play.
Right? Oh, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
But
actually, sorry. Before you, I just want to mention too. I feel terrible for T. Higgins. I mean, I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, he was trying to play.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't even like a cheap shot or anything. Like you're just
his dad died from cardiac arrest recently too, right?
Like a week ago.
Oh my god, that is
absurd.
I mean, and we didn't even talk about this either. Is Damar Hamlin's mother was at the freaking game?
Yeah. God damn.
Honestly, as awful as that is, I thought it was a weird thing for them to say on ESPN, but I think they were actually right inevitably, which was like that might have been the best place for her instead of having to watch on TV and then having to travel across the country to
true.
She was at least able to ride in the ambulance with them to the hospital and be with them.
Well, a small silver lining at least. I pointed it out to you guys, and I'm really happy to see it's still the fundraiser that Damar Hamlin's got on GoFundMe for his community toy drive that initially was just supposed to be a one-time thing. They posted an update recently, though, that this is absolutely the place to fundraise if they're looking to support Damar at this time. That had an initial goal of $2,500, and they are nearing $5 million that they've raised. It's incredible. Like that makes me happy at least.
Every child in Pittsburgh is going to have a toy.
Yeah, they're going to have a goddamn Lotus at this point, man.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I was also gonna say, like, not just like the kickoff thing, but like there has to be like innovations in armor, right? Like we have cars that
Yeah.
crumple when they're hit for safety and
Exactly.
stuff. Like, there has to be like some form of protection. I mean, it's
Here's
just
the pads have been getting smaller over time. I've been seeing. I mean, now that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'm no engineer or anything, right? So I mean, they probably afford more protection than the bigger pads. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's just driven by them trying to make more money, right? I mean, the more of the player that you see, I mean, that's even the reason that they have the whole face mask thing for the helmets, is so that you can see the player's face. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, any of these corner cutting measures that are there that like reduce safety but like make the players look better, who gives a shit? In my opinion, I don't know. Because I don't want to. This is the kind of event that makes me question watching the sport in the first place. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It feels it's just
Like it's not. I don't want to be preachy or soapboxy about it, but it does just like at a fucking core human level. I'm like, how am I enjoying watching these men fucking suffer and come near
Right.
death for my entertainment?
yeah,
It's
It feels wrong, man.
yeah.
yeah, it's honestly, I always see that when like people get knocked out in fighting. You know, like, hey, you got
Yeah.
knocked out. I'm like, a dude's got like brain damage now, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a concussion when you get knocked
Yeah,
out.
like
Yeah.
again, I don't want to be preachy about it. Like you do you for entertainment purposes, but like that's kind of why I hate how YouTube boxing has become a thing too. Like
Yeah.
y'all are knocking each other's brain cells out of your skulls. Like that's what you want to be doing? Don't do that. It's not good.
I'm with you, man.
yeah. But at the same time, I feel like there are people that like they just like that. That's who they are, which, you know.
Yeah, and again, like
True.
entertainment wise, I can't really hate on it too much. Like if you find it compelling, then yeah, go for it. But
Which
God, it
that
just
was
feels
my,
wrong.
But
my
then
big
the-
thing
the-
with concussions
Sorry, go on.
was like I didn't like to me the concussions was like, you know, it was mainly the information part that was the bad part for me. Like the NFL being like, concussions, what's that?
Right.
Like it's like it's another thing if they tell you like, hey, this is part of the risk, like this is what happens, you know, we're gonna take you, you know, you can play if you want, but we just want to let you know, like, information. So players were like, oh, you know what, I understand the risk, but I'm gonna do it because that's what I want to do, instead of like, concussion, that's not real, just keep playing.
Right.
You know.
You got your bell rung. Yeah.
The old bell rung.
Right.
Do you guys want to try to talk about football and see how it goes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can talk about football.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can talk
yeah.
about football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
to summarize, we're hopefully there's news by the time you hear this that he's better and whatnot. But we're pulling for him, and you know, it's a tough thing to see.
Yeah.
Tough thing for people to go through.
Yeah. So this game feels like forever ago. We had the Cowboys
Yeah.
and Titans.
I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like,
Jeez,
man,
yeah,
I can't
wow.
remember any of these games after
Was that
what
last
happened.
year?
No.
That
Oh,
was
don't make
really
a joke
last
about
year.
it being actually last
It
year, but
really
I'm
was
like,
last
It was actually
God
he's
damn it.
right. Oh yeah, happy New Year,
Yep.
everybody.
You're right. Yeah.
So this was the Titans deciding they did not want to play Malik Willis, which was a good decision because Joshua Dobbs played and he actually threw the ball.
Yeah,
Like
wasn't
beastly.
horrible.
Yeah. It just so happened he's playing Dallas, who's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 10 penalties for 124 yards.
Yikes.
That is bad.
That is bad.
I mean, you have a game where Dallas turned the ball over 3 times, so Dallas wasn't even trying their best this one,
Yep.
and they still stomped them. So
Yeah. And
interestingly enough, though, I don't think we realized this on the previous podcast, but this Titans game and the Jags game this week didn't matter actually at all for playoffs.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that either.
So they will be playing for the championship this upcoming week, which is weird, but I guess that it's weird to have usually the last game of the season on the matter. It's interesting to have the game before last not matter,
Yeah,
and then the
right.
last game matter. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, that is weird. Which I still think the Jaguars are gonna do it. Like the Titans just
Yeah.
don't feel the same. Like they lost Tannehill. This game they didn't even have Derrick Henry playing? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Yeah, so obviously they're probably, this game doesn't matter, so like who gives a shit, right?
I'm not trying to
pretty
injure
much.
people.
Yeah, just conserve him for the end. But I mean, at least you got Joshua Dobbs looking all right, so that's got to give you some hope. Like, hey, at least our quarterback can throw the ball, like a backup level, which might be good enough with Derrick Henry to win the game against the Jaguars. And on the other side, the Cowboys didn't even play. I think Tony Pollard was out, but they didn't really run the ball that well. But Tennessee's run defense is pretty good. And I mean, it was a typical Thursday night game.
Typical Thursday night game.
So yeah, then we had maybe the most meaningless game of the week next to that meaningless game. The Falcons and the Cardinals.
This game was so meaningless. I don't think they ever cut to it other than for highlights in red zone. So I did not see almost a single play of this game.
Which is funny because it was an exciting game and it came down to the
Yeah.
wire and the Falcons kicked a game-winning field goal and even Scott Hansen was like, all right, give him some consolation prize to cheer for over there in Atlanta.
Yeah. No, this was a David Blau versus Desmond Ritter matchup. So that's really all you need to hear to know how it was. But yeah, it was close, mainly because these teams are both bad. So having them both battle at, I mean, Tyler Alligator had 83 and a touchdown. Cordell Patterson had 42 and a touchdown. The Cardinals had Trey McBride have 78 and a touchdown. I remember when everyone wanted him in the draft. He was like the top tight end. They're like, this dude's like Gronk.
Right.
So maybe he's getting a lot better. Who knows? But
We've already given this game more time than it deserves.
we really have, yeah. So overall, the Falcons' big time last second win.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we had the Dolphins Patriots, which this game was actually pretty wild.
Yeah, well, first of all, big takeaway. Both of these teams are bad. Like,
yeah.
especially the Dolphins without Tua is
Yeah.
just a mess.
Mhm.
But the Patriots are maybe somehow gonna limp into the damn playoffs still, which is unbelievable. And
They are. Yeah.
Assuming next week is normal, I do believe they just are winning in now.
I think they just go in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's well, actually no. Did they beat
got-
Miami again this year? Did they have the tiebreaker over Miami? I guess is what I
Oh, no, they lost to Miami week 1.
So then I don't know if they're winning in because Miami won that game harder. Which isn't that isn't that the tiebreaker? Is whoever wins the game with more points? Or
I don't know. I think it's just the record. I think that goes to divisional record,
Divisional,
the conference
yeah.
record,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
blah blah blah.
Well, regardless, it's they need to win the game, and then it's between them and Miami. And weirdly enough, the only other team who now is in contention is the Steelers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's New England versus unfortunately Buffalo, and then Miami versus New York are the games next week. So yeah, this has caused some interesting playoff implications, but I don't think of any of these teams, Miami, New England, Pittsburgh, any of them will do anything in the playoffs. But
Oh god,
No.
yeah, those are one and done.
No,
no doubt.
I don't
something
think so. It's
something
even,
to root for the fan bases, I guess.
It's even weird having Baltimore just be in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, they
like,
should.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
There's
also
really
very
only like
bad.
3 or 4 playoff teams in each conference, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. The rest are just extra.
Yeah, watch the Jaguars just like crush everyone or something.
Yeah, for real.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
At this point.
Yeah, but this was
There
Skylar
was one-
Thompson entering the
One
game.
highlight of this game I want to mention actually before I forget, that is going back to the pastime of shitting on the refs for being awful.
Yep. One of my
there
favorites.
was a very, very clear fumble by Miami on the first drive, like blatantly clear fumble, and they called forward progress stopped, and so the fumble couldn't be reviewed. And then when they showed the replay, the first thing that happened was the guy loses the ball, and like it's as he's hit, basically, like he wasn't engaged. He pretty much just instantaneously loses the ball, and the refs just they almost after the play was over, before they had even made a decision, they were like, "Oh, the forward progress was stopped, unreviewable, not a fumble." which is
Yeah.
really bad. Like that is
Yeah.
you should rule the fumble first and then review it. That
Yeah.
was
It was the
very
same as
wild.
the Viking Colts game, right? Where he fumbled it.
Well, I
and
think
they
they did it in reverse too to the Patriots. The Patriots last week they had one where the forward progress was stopped and they just didn't call the play and then the ball
Dude.
was fumbled.
Oh, that
So
was
they-
got
the,
his-
the Packer game where Aaron Jones was like forward progress. They just didn't call it, and then he fumbled it, and they're like, "Oops, fumble."
they need to figure this rule out of forward
Yeah.
progress. Like, it
Dude,
needs to
okay, so
be-
like, what if call me fucking psychotic for this one, but what if we just made everything they're calling unreviewable reviewable?
No, yeah.
honestly, I agree with that.
That's
like,
that's what Bill Belichick said. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
I remember
Like,
him
it
Well,
makes
saying,
no
that's what
sense.
that's what they tried to implement the rule, right, with the pass interference a year or 2 years
Right.
ago now.
Yeah.
right? And then the
And then the refs
The-
had their fucking egos hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
the refs revolted.
they're-
They didn't do it. They didn't allow it. So
yeah, and it's like I can kind of understand the penalty line. Like I guess that's a little different, but yeah, with everything else, like there shouldn't
It's just
be a
with
play
shit
that's
that like is clearly on replay wrong. We should be able to fix it. It's so stupid.
yeah.
"Oh my god, that's
100%.
like in the NBA now. They do these like post game reports where it's like the L2M report,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're just
yeah.
like, yesterday, this guy made a game winning shot, and it shouldn't have counted." And it's like, oh, I'm glad I know that they won. Like, they didn't
know,
they
in
didn't
spirit,
deserve to
right,
win.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, like it's so
Thanks.
stupid. Like, why even have these? It's I hate it. But yeah, that's what I think too. Like, they should just make everything reviewable. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Like they already hold up the game for 5 to 10 minutes at a time on random intervals anyway.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
I mean, we've talked about this before, but like if you think about it, there are lots of things that the NFL could do. Like they could move past, stick and chain technology to figure out
Yeah.
the position of the ball.
No way.
Hey, that's
Are you telling
reliable
me-
now, Rob. Come on.
Are you
They
telling me
could,
we could just have like a light shining across the field that would indicate and
Yeah.
like, oh wow, there it is. It crossed the thing.
Like
we know.
that the players can literally see and aim
Yeah.
for as they're playing. Yeah.
They have chips in the balls right now so that they could track advanced pass analytics, so they could have tracking data to see
No, we can't
when
do
it
that.
crosses the plane.
That
They
can't-
could
that won't-
do
that
that.
can't happen.
There was a good tweet that was like, why like we really just have like one of the most important parts of the game just be like up to the refs like spotting the ball basically. Like that's just
It's
a
just
dude.
where they think it is.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, it kind of like I know there's like 8 bodies piled on top of this guy, but it kind of looks like he was
pretty
here,
sure it
so-
was right here. Yeah.
There's just like
And-
some things that feel
I went to
archaic.
school for this.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same with like baseball. It's like the umpire gets the call wrong.
Oh,
and there's-
baseball's so bad.
Yeah, it's like
I-
we could just have the robot. Like no, or like,
Literally just make it a robot. It's so dumb.
because
Yeah.
gets rid of the integrity of the game.
It
I mean,
literally like doesn't though is the funny thing. Like it actually
Yeah.
improves the
makes it
integrity.
better.
Yeah.
So, and to your point, and now this is Rob's tinfoil hat section of the podcast every time.
Yeah.
But I suspect that the reason that they have those vagaries and all those rules that come down to like ref decision and stuff is, I mean, it kind of allows games to be
Yeah. All
manipulated.
right, man.
I'm just saying, man, it makes
Yeah,
it
I
easier.
know.
It makes
That's
it easier
true.
because, as Apollo was saying, it would increase the integrity of the game because it's just straight up clear what's
Yeah,
happening.
better.
As long as the
Yeah,
technology is good, of course. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
As long as it's good and accurate. Which,
But, I mean, we know they have all
2023,
the-
man.
Yeah, they have
Pretty sure it's
PFF
gonna be
has,
fine. Yeah.
yeah, NFL and PFF, they have all that like advanced stat tracking. They have chips
This guy
in their,
ran
in their helmets and the armor.
40.7 miles
Right,
an
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Google and
And the
Apple know
ball.
where every human being on the planet is at literally all
Right.
times. Like, you're telling me we can't figure out where the ball is with 20 cameras? And like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and not even 20 cameras. That's another thing too, right? Is it that's another thing that could solve a lot of problems if they had a couple more cameras in the
Yeah,
end zone, and they don't.
They,
don't
Damn
do
right, the
that.
pylon.
Yeah.
What do you
The
think we
pylon
need?
camera was
like,
a great addition. That's only like on some games though, isn't it? Or is it all games now?
I think it's all games now.
Is it all?
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think when it first came out, it was just like ESPN or something that had it.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, I think it's all
maybe
games now. I think they all took it.
But
But it's
it-
like they also have like 4K and 8K cameras and shit. Like,
They need
Right.
to clear this was a point of emphasis like 6 or 7 weeks ago by one of the players, I think. But they were saying they need to clear the clutter on the sidelines.
sidelines?
There's
Yeah.
too many
Yeah.
people that shouldn't be there, too much equipment that shouldn't be there. Like we
Yeah.
can clearly design a better system so the players can have a nice sideline that people won't, like if someone comes charging out of bounds, they're not going to run into like 6 different people.
yeah,
Right.
Like, and we can actually fit, like cameras and stuff that'll be in good positions to see shit. Like,
Well, and half the staff on the sideline, the ironic part is that they're camera people, but their footage is not official, right? With the NFL broadcast,
Yeah.
so they all have like really close shots of all of these events happening because they're standing on the sideline in specific positions to catch them. But those are also not part of replay or anything. Whereas you could just have NFL cameras there, part of replay and whatnot.
can't do that.
Yeah.
There's no
wait,
way.
right, you're right. We can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We can't do that, so we'll just move on.
Oh, this was a game apparently.
This somehow happened.
Happened? Yeah. What?
The Saints beating the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
what?
You'll see why this game upsets me when we get to the pick'em bonus stats. But like, this is what?
I mean, what's his face? Hertz is out. you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Minshew
Yeah, but-
Magic, which ran out very quickly this year.
It did.
Yeah.
I guess this is just a Minshew thing. I'm looking at his stats. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, he didn't do too
I mean,
well.
it's not horrible though either.
play
It's not-
well. Yeah,
I mean, he played better
But
than
teams-
Andy Dalton. Like, if you put him on the Saints, he'd be like, oh.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the rushing attack, and that looks like a much more significant problem to me than.
Which is
I mean,
loss
it's
of
Eagles.
Jalen. The loss of Jalen impacts that honestly.
Yeah, but
more
you
than
still
the
have
passing
their
game.
their O line and Miles Sanders. You should not be getting 67 yards.
That's
on the
true.
ground as
That's
the
true.
Eagles.
It's
You're
one
right.
of those things where it affects if you have a QB that the defense doesn't respect as much, that affects the running game too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Because it changes how the defense is playing against the run. And if the QB can't complete the same kind of passes that the starter can, then and that's that's what's happening here.
I think
yeah.
I think this is very similar to how Tua impacts the Dolphins. I think Hurts has the same kind of level of impact
Yeah.
with the Eagles.
This is, I mean, there's actually a few things I saw when I was looking through this. One is the Saints controlled the ball for 37 minutes to the Eagles 23.
Oh yeah.
So that's an entire quarter pretty much of just having the ball.
There was a lot of Taysom Hill in this game. 14
Yeah.
carries. He had a couple of throws as well. He was featured heavily.
Oh, yeah. There's 13 sacks this game. 7
Yeah.
sacks for the Saints, 6 for the Eagles. And really just the Saints just seemed to run the ball and control the clock. That was pretty much how they won. They just ran the ball.
It's a disappointing season for the Saints because I know they're doing like a semi-rebuild type thing. I
Yeah.
mean, like they do have like a pretty decent team. They have some decent players, but like they always felt better than their record the whole season.
Yeah.
And they're in the worst division in the league. It's really upsetting that had they just not thrown that game against Tampa Bay 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
they
could
would
go to the
be in
playoffs.
line to going to the playoffs right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they lost games to the Bucks early. They lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the Ravens. Like it was, they had opportunities for sure to to make their presence known, but they just fell short.
Yeah.
I think since Sean Payton and Breeze left, this team's kind of been in like this weird holding pattern where they're like kind of rebuilding but kind of trying to go for it. Yeah, so it's I don't know. They have a lack of identity, I feel like.
Yeah, I can
generally.
see that.
Yeah, the loss of someone like Breeze will certainly do
Yeah.
that, right?
Right. And
Just
Sean
leaves a
Payton at the
giant
same
Yeah.
ga-
time,
Oh yeah,
too.
absolutely. Just a giant gaping hole there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's mention the other South game. It's pretty much right here. The Buccaneers Panthers, with the Buccaneers winning the NFC South.
just magic at this point, man. It's just voodoo magic.
It
Dude,
really
Brady
is.
went 34 of 45 for 432 and 3 TDs.
And
That's
yeah, like
nuts.
most of that was in the
that was Mike Evans.
You know,
Yeah.
I before we continue, I just wanted to mention because I saw a comment. We should mention the scores at the beginning too, because we forget we don't mention those a lot of the
yeah,
time.
that's true.
But Bucks win 30-24 over the Carolina Panthers.
With 20 points scored in the fourth goddamn quarter.
Yep.
Yep,
It's ridiculous
Tom Brady.
how this team is in the playoffs. It's actually truly insane.
It actually
Tom
is.
Brady.
It's the even crazier part was the Panthers still could have won this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
saw the punt.
The punt, yeah.
Oh, the
punt.
punt, yeah.
That
Yeah.
punter like saved the Buccaneers. Like
Absolutely.
The punt was low. Like if he just doesn't do anything, he just falls on it. Like the Panthers could ball at like the Buccaneer 35. Like
Yeah,
it's,
That was
it's-
very doable, yeah.
Yeah, and they only need a touchdown, the extra point, and they go up. But like he gets the ball, he runs, and then punts the ball to the 1 yard line as he's running to the left. And it did get called back because there's like offsides on the Buccaneers.
But it
or
wouldn't
something,
have been called back.
But yeah, it
if-
wouldn't have been called back. They would have
It
declined
was
the penalty.
insane. It was season saving, but like, man, the last 3 Tampa Bay wins have all been collapses by the other 3 teams. The Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Saints all just collapsed against. So I don't know. If you're a Bucks fan, you should be thrilled that this team is somehow in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm wondering how Sin feels about it all. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
curious.
this has got to be like the worst iteration of these Bucks we've seen over the past 3 years, and yet somehow we all feel like they're probably still going to win the Super Bowl.
They're
That's
potentially
right.
going to be the worst team in the entire playoffs, AFC and
Oh
NFC.
God! Stop. See, this is Tom. This is how Tom Brady is
He
fed.
detects this stuff,
Y-
even
yeah.
at a level this low.
He
He
can
still
just
can
sniff
detect
it.
it.
Yeah, he's like, you don't think a 45-year-old could win the Super Bowl? Yeah. With a
He shows up in Rob's door frame, leaning against it, drinking a Coors Light, like, "Oh yeah, you guys think you're so smart, huh?"
God, you just know it's gonna happen. You know he's
It
gonna.
feels like it feels like a Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl.
It
year,
does.
and I hate it.
It's
But
not. It's no. I'll be the naysayer here. It's just not going to happen. There's no way.
No, it will. You
Yeah.
just made sure it will.
Yeah, I
No. I'm breaking through the magic. It's not going to happen.
Patriots fans better not send this podcast to Tom Brady because he will. He'll just go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, this was just a dark magic game. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like Sam Darnold actually played pretty well.
Sam Darnold played great.
You good?
He had 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like
He over the past couple of weeks that he's been starting, he's got 7 touchdowns to 1 interception and like 700 yards.
yeah, like he's been
Goddamn.
really good. And
Yeah.
the biggest flaw is at the end of the game where they threw a pick and he fumbled it, and that's
Yep.
part of what allowed the Buccaneers to come back as well.
Which has been his issue on our teams, but you know, he was a gunslinger type guy. I still
Yeah.
maintain Sam Darnold was failed by the Jets. That was an issue.
Now, that's been a pretty proven concept over the last like decade or so now. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
people that you guys have failed. I mean, fucking Zach Wilson's going to end up taking another team to the Super Bowl at some point in 5 years. At this point,
Yeah, that would be amazing to me. But it could. Knowing the Jets, it probably will happen.
Then we had the Giants Colts, which this was the game where Nick Foles got hurt and Kayvon Thibodeau proceeded to do a snow angel celebration next to injured Nick Foles.
yeah. Fuck Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
like fuck
was
that
fucked
guy.
It was
Piece of
fucked
shit.
up.
And then
Like,
not
that
only
is
that, but
inexcusable.
he went to the sidelines and did the Steph Curry like put him to sleep.
After clearly learning about what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's obvious he knew what happened. Like what a
just horrible.
shitty ass shitter.
Before even the DeMar Hamlin stuff, like
Yeah.
this is a dude that doesn't belong in the goddamn league.
Yeah,
Take this guy out of the fucking league. This is a guy that like headhunts. This is like a
Yeah.
Vontaze Burfict and Dominican Sue kind of motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
get this piece of shit out of here.
Yeah, and important to know because the image is not. If you didn't see it, like he literally lays down to Nick Foles, who is convulsing on the floor with a concussion. You know, he's got.
They had broken ribs, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
broken
really?
ribs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's still convulsing on the floor.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did the snow angel thing for like 15 seconds.
It was
Smacking
so
Foles in the thigh.
awkwardly long. It was
It was
so
horrible.
long.
I'm kind of equally upset with none of the Colts offensive line did a fucking thing about it.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys too, spineless assholes. Like, protect your fucking quarterback. I don't care if your season's shot. Do something.
Seriously. It's just
Yeah,
like
it was fucked up.
like even if doing it for that long, like even if he was okay, that still would have been like, all right, this dude is celebrating for way too long. You know,
I
But
think
it's
even
just-
Jeff. I think Saturday said that too. I think he was like, "I'm kind of disappointed in my O line for not
He should
doing
be.
something."
He did, yeah. Yeah, he did say that, yeah.
yeah, that's well, I guess that summarizes the Colts team mentality.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That
And-
team's a dumpster fire.
It
yeah,
really is. But on the other side, the Giants have now secured their first playoff berth in 6 years.
They
Yay.
have
That is
Uh,
wild.
the power of Daniel Jones.
Dude, he
He's
looked
actually not-
good.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here and not really talking about Daniel Jones that much the whole season, but he's been
Lit
having a good
up.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's been doing well. And you know, this is something that I will bring up again later about rebuilding a team and how
Right.
long it takes. But this is Brian Dable's first year
Yeah.
as head coach of the Giants. And
Yeah.
look, and their roster, I don't think anybody looks at that roster on paper and goes, "Wow, that's a star-studded team," right?
Yeah.
They have practice squad players at wide receiver to
Yeah.
do that in one.
They've got an
year.
actual piece of shit playing in the defense. That's weird that they would roster an
Yeah.
actual piece of shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you look at the receivers, you have Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, who I think was cut by like Buffalo or someone
Yeah.
like 5 weeks ago, and Daniel Bellinger.
Yeah, I'm. It's not an exaggeration to say that these are practice squad guys. Like they were really just digging in to get a team put together, and they're going to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his first year as a head coach.
Yeah.
First year.
And right now, if it was lined up the way it is, they would play the Minnesota Vikings,
Oh boy.
which when they played them a few weeks ago, it was a close game. So that
Yeah,
would
came down to that
probably,
61-yard field goal.
yeah,
Mhm.
so that'd be a good game. Woo! Then we had the Chiefs Broncos, which was closer than I think anyone expected it to be.
Again, this is the same as the last time they played this season. Why was this game so close?
Yeah,
Like, what's
Divisional.
going on with Kansas City?
I don't know. This was Russell Wilson like did okay, which for Russell Wilson this year is pretty good.
Yeah.
He ran for 2 touchdowns actually.
Yeah.
And they had their leading receiver was Albert Aqueg. I can't say it. I actually don't know how to pronounce that name.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. That's cool though.
That is a cool
I
name.
wonder how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Look that up.
But the Broncos, you know, even though they lose this game, I think this is what the Broncos have just done all season, which is like they're always pretty close. But I feel like at this point, if they played this type of offense all season, they'd probably be a lot better. Like they scored 24 points. That's
Yeah.
pretty good for the Broncos offense.
I mean, you know, I think it's important to note that like the Broncos have looked a little bit more competent since they fired Hackett.
Yeah, that's also true.
You know,
I forgot about that.
That seems like a significant point.
Yeah, I would say that's. In fact, this was this the first game without Hackett, or was it last week?
I think last week too.
Oh yeah, but yeah, they played. Yeah, the Ravens was last week. But it's man, what a like this really is just the summary of the year for the Broncos, which is just so close yet so far,
No
and
cigar.
now really far without any draft picks.
Oh yeah. But maybe they'll be maybe Russell Wilson will find his magic back again next year. Who knows?
Yeah,
But I mean,
I hope so.
I do want to talk about the Chiefs for a second because I feel like I know we have a lot of Chiefs fans who watch the podcast, and they're going to be very upset with me when I say I think this team might be surprisingly overrated. because I was interested the other day because I was like, man, the last few the Chiefs games, like they've just not impressed me at all. Like you have the almost losing to the Broncos. They beat the Seahawks, you know, and not that was a decent game, but almost losing to the Texans, almost losing to the Broncos again, losing to the Bengals. It's like, okay, what's going on here? And like I'm looking at their schedule, and like usually when teams do well in the playoffs, they're supposed to have a hard schedule the following season.
Right.
But what happened to the Chiefs is all of the hard games that they were supposed to have were not hard because those teams are all suddenly bad. The Colts were not nearly as good. And they lost to the Colts. Remember that. The Cardinals, the Chargers, the Raiders, the
Buccaneers,
Titans, the Buccaneers, like all of these games that were supposed to be hard were actually like Kansas City has had a surprisingly easy schedule.
Rams.
Their hardest games have been, I would say, the Bills and the 49ers. Like their one impressive win is against the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have a lot of faith in the Chiefs for these playoffs unless something changes, because the two teams that are, you know, in front of them right now, the Bills and the Bengals, they didn't beat. So
yeah. No, I agree. I think they are probably third in terms of who I would think. I think it would be Bills, but I think Bills and Bengals are actually pretty close in terms of like talent level, and then I would say Chiefs are probably third. Honestly, missing Tyreek Hill I think is the biggest thing for them.
And they've been and they never really recovered their running game when the whole Kareem Hunt.
That is true.
You know.
Yeah, because they had who's their running back last year? Wasn't it start with a D?
Nuts.
Yeah, I think that was it.
It was these nuts, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
2021. It was
like Eclair or something. Clyde's Delaire.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they also had Daryl Williams.
It'd be cooler if his name was Eclair, though.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, they've kind of just had a running back by committee, really. But like, because their offense is so good with Mahomes and Kelsey and all that, it's like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
you just throw somebody in there, and it's like, here you go, and they're like, all right.
But I will say, like, I think like over the course of since they won the Super Bowl, you know, pretty much just that roster has, like, the stars of that roster have been slowly, you know, disappearing, and they haven't really replaced them.
Dude,
that's one Mahomes mentioned. You guys have four more, and then I do not want to hear his name again.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've said it all year. I said it before. This Chiefs team is the Packers. Like, I'm just watching history repeat itself. It's like you win the Super Bowl with your young, you know, MVP quarterback, and you're like, oh boy, I can't wait to win many more like Tom Brady did. And then you're just like, oh, we got close. We got close again. Don't worry. Okay, this guy left, but we'll be good. Okay, playoff. We're still good. We got like 13. Oh, playoff loss. Okay, and then, you know, before you know it, everybody's gone, and your quarterback's fucking smoking ayahuasca, and who knows? Mahomes might be like, who knows what he'll be doing when he's 38.
Vaping ketchup.
Vaping ketchup. It's like, dude, you gotta vape ketchup, bro.
Yeah, gotta hit this. They brought back the green ketchup.
Dude, that green ketchup, I love trying.
I mean, that was the shit. They should bring that back just normally. Just make it green all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just food coloring, but they should do it again.
Yeah, do it.
Speaking of good quarterbacks, Justin Fields doesn't have help around him.
Yeah.
More so, good on the Lions for again remembering that they're very good, actually, and just handing it to the Bears, basically.
Which actually, Jared Goff quietly put together an amazing season so far. He has 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really good.
We are all, I feel like, going to be so sad if the Lions, and probably will, miss the playoffs, because they have probably the hardest route in now of the teams remaining.
Yeah.
It's, that Carolina game was just devastating.
In fact, Jared Goff hasn't thrown an interception since week 9.
Wow.
So
I want to see them in the play. Like, I know you want the Packers to go in, but I want to see the Lions in the playoffs so bad.
Here's the thing. Cool. We'll know if the Lions can make it, because the Seahawks play before them, and if the Seahawks win, then they'll have the, you know.
And very unfortunately for the Lions, the Seahawks play the Rams. So
yeah. Although
not
you never
looking
know,
good.
Baker Mayfield divisional game, like
You never know. You never know.
you never know. But the Lions absolutely controlled this game. Pretty much from the second quarter on, it was just a beatdown. Like Fields was, I don't know how he's still standing.
Why
man.
is he
like,
playing?
Yeah.
Why is he still
Playing?
playing?
I mean, honestly, I mentioned this when we were talking in Discord, but like, I wouldn't even hate if he was still playing if they weren't fucking making so many designed QB runs for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I think he
you know-
wants to. I mean, obviously they need to control his desire, but I think he wants to beat Lamar's record. I think he's very close now.
Yeah,
I think he's like 40
mean,
yards away or something. So expect him to run again next week.
Oh yeah.
I guess, but I don't know, man. He's getting injured mid-game every game. I mean, especially after last week or this week of football, it just seems like you gotta not let this happen. In my opinion, this guy's gonna die doing this.
Like, if he wants to do it, I guess, but it's just so dumb, Justin. You gotta stay alive, bud.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, so that's the thing, right? Is that like if it, he runs out on passing plays, sure, but like they're doing these designed QB power runs and stuff with him, which he is excellent at. But we know that, right? Like he's excellent at that. That's that. You don't need to. He doesn't need to prove that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, I just
He's like 65 yards away, I believe, from the record. So, that's the thing. Is like they're not playing for anything. Like, I guess if his best runs anywhere when he's trying to pass, and then he just like runs with it, not like a designed run. Like I agree that they shouldn't really do many designed runs of like, yeah, we'll just treat him like a running back.
yeah.
Like this dude is your franchise for the next like decade potentially, and you're just like running them in, like just throw them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
got carry numbers like a running back. I mean, and that's I don't know. I think that's a problem.
There's a reason running backs are like usually like retiring by the time they're like 30.
Right.
Like it's not good. And then receiving, the Bears had 7 completions this game. So
Yeah.
that's not great, if you were wondering. Actually, on the other side, though, Jamal Williams had 22 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown. And DeAndre Swift had 78 yards and a touchdown. And Jamal Williams is now, I believe, 2 rushing touchdowns away from breaking Barry Sanders' record.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I think one more and he
is
ties
having
it,
it.
one more he breaks it.
My God, yeah, he's got 15 TDs on the year. He's not actually at over 1,000 yards yet, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's oh my God, he's only started 8 games.
Yeah. He's like their red zone running back. And he's good at it.
Clearly, yeah.
It's in fact, I think he's up there in all-purpose yards.
I believe it.
Yeah, yards from scrimmage. No, where's all-purpose yards? I'll find it eventually. Either way, it's pretty insane. And even right behind him, you got Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, and Jalen Hurts all at 13 touchdowns for rushing touchdowns. That is. So that's pretty
wild.
crazy. Yep.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, there's one thing that I wanted to mention that I'll bring back up later. Look at how fun the football is when you have good offense. They got a shitty defense, right?
Yeah.
They got a shitty defense, but at least they're scoring lots of points in games. I don't know, if I'm a Lions fan and they still don't make the playoffs, I'm pretty happy with this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, but
Yeah, I would. I mean, you were in the playoff, the playoff hunt, essentially. Like, you were there. I mean, that's about as good as you can get outside of, like, actually making the playoff.
and you have a top 5 offense in
Yeah.
the NFL. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it is more fun than watching, like, a 10-9 loss. Being
Yeah.
like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
So, in fact, thinking back to it, the Lions lost to the Seahawks earlier in the year 48-45. Like, if they win that game, they'd pretty much be in control of their own destiny.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they'd be in. I think they'd probably be in. Or it'd be close. If they'd win, they'd automatically. Something like that. Either way.
They'd be 9-7 right now. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they might be. They might be in.
Yeah.
They would be playing Green Bay for it instead of needing
instead
help,
of
I think.
needing help.
Right.
Yeah, Seattle would be eliminated. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
So
sure.
that's why the earlier games always do come back to kind of haunt you, where you're like, hey, you know what, we lost that one, and it's get to the end of the year, and you're like, man, I wish we won that game.
Yeah.
Steelers would control their own destiny right now if they didn't lose to the Ravens
Yep.
earlier in the year. I told you guys how bad that loss was.
Yeah, it sure was. Then we had the Browns Commanders,
Yeah.
Like,
which
why did they bring Carson Wentz back?
I don't know, but thank you, Commanders, for helping the Packers get into this situation. As soon as I saw they were playing Carson Wentz, I was like, oh, it's over. Like that's why I picked them last week, because I was like, I'm gonna go Commanders, and they were like, oh, Carson Wentz is playing, and I was like, oh, I'm not picking that. Like, and 143 yards and 3 picks for Carson Wentz in classic Wentz fashion. If you need a playoff win on the line at the end of the season, you know to not play Carson Wentz. This is the guy who
same
failed
thing as the
last year.
Colts. Yeah,
Yeah.
like what were they thinking, man?
Yeah, that was just dumb. And
Just
then
coaching malpractice.
yeah, on the other side, Deshaun Watson had
Who
3
cares?
touchdowns.
Nick Chubb had 104
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah, Nick Chubb 104 yards. Really, Amari Cooper was
yeah.
the one that
Yeah.
allowed those things to happen.
And nobody
30
else.
35 yards per reception. Nick Chubb with a 7.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, it's plus like one of those touchdowns was. I think my grandma could have threw it in there. It was like Donovan Peoples-Jones uncovered. Like it was pretty easy. But overall, I mean, the Browns still don't look great, to be honest. Like this was, and if anything, this was just more of a Carson Wentz game. I would just say this was the Carson Wentz game, and with that loss, the Commanders are now out of playoff contention.
Go Hogs!
Yeah.
Go Hogs. Yeah. Did they pick their mascot?
They did. They picked the hog.
Okay, they picked the hog.
Yay!
They picked the hog.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. There he is, Major Tuddy.
Oh no.
Why did they
God.
just call him like Hog Commander?
Yeah, they had to find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's all bad, but like they just made it worse, really.
Yeah. Like what? Major Tuddy. Like what? Okay.
Well, if it ends up being that Snyder sells the team, then they might change all of this shit again.
Maybe they
that'd
would
be fun.
change their name to the Hogs. I
could.
hate the fact, okay, they pick a fucking hog as their mascot, but they're like, name the team the Rat. No, don't do that. Like, what do you why? I don't. You could have just made him the Hog Commander. There you go. That would have made more sense. Like he's the commander of the Hogs, right? Like, but
Yeah.
instead they're like he's a hog. He doesn't even have a commander hat on. He's got like an army helmet. It's not even an admiral. What? I fucking hate this team. Okay. What? So then we had. Where am I? I lost my games out of frustration. Jaguars, Texans, 31-3.
Yep. Jags did what they needed to do behind ETN.
Yep.
108
Lose enough
yards.
games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If they had lost one less game, maybe, some
Yeah.
other things would have happened. I don't know. I'm just saying.
This was the 108-yard, 1 TD Travis Etienne game. We had Lawrence throw for 152 and a pick. Not great, but
Yeah.
they got it done. Texans looked terrible, and that's really it.
That's a summary of their season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis
is
Etienne, though, is having like a very good year.
Yeah. No, he's playing fantastic. Let's see. He's got 1,100 yards and 5 touchdowns. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go over 1,000 yards, it's It's pretty good.
Mhm. That's a good year.
Yeah. So I still think the Jaguars are gonna make the playoffs. Like it just feels like they're the better.
It's going to
team.
be so disappointing if they don't, because they're going to let in a really bad Tennessee team that no one really cares about outside of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone is like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars, underdog, let's go get into the playoffs. And I'm just worried now that the universe is going to be really unfun about it, and the Jags are just going to play a bad game.
Yeah.
You know?
Very possible.
Is it possible they'd still make it in?
No, I think. Actually, I don't know. Everyone's
They are
saying
8-8.
It's weird. I don't know how Tennessee would have a tiebreaker, but maybe because didn't the Jags beat Tennessee last
wait.
time?
Here we
They
go.
might have a
It's-
better divisional
um,
conference record.
the Jaguars will clinch if they win, but they lose to Tennessee. The following results occur. They will still make the playoffs. If the Bills beat the Patriots and the
Oh.
Jets beat the Dolphins.
Oh, that's the same as the. That's exactly what the Steelers need.
Yeah. But they also
Yeah.
need, I guess, the Jaguars to, well, actually, yeah, but then what would the Steelers? Hold on.
No, it's tiebreakers. That doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's just tiebreakers for Jags versus Titans.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, if the Steelers make the playoffs, then the Jags, it doesn't matter if they win or lose, basically.
I see. Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, there you go. Then we had the oh god, I lost my games again because I searched that.
Niners Raiders.
Niners Raiders, which
So
surprisingly a good game.
what?
Yeah. This was
Jarrett Stidham, Brock Purdy.
I mean, what does this say about Derek Carr, man? Like
Yeah.
what?
I think it honestly, I still think it says more about Josh McDaniels. Because I think you could read this as Josh McDaniels was trying to like slavishly adhere to his scheme, and it wasn't working for Derek Carr and the team. And Jarrett Stidham, who's already run that scheme, which is why he brought him in there in the first place, was able to thrive in it.
yeah.
You know,
I also think this is a lot of Devontae Adams because he had 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Devontae Adams is very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I'm just saying, this is a supposedly top defense of the league giving up 34 points to the Raiders with a backup quarterback. I'm going to look at it that way instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
The big thing, I guess, Christian McCaffrey, 121 and a touchdown. Pretty good.
Yep.
He also had 72 receiving yards. And then Ayuk had 101 yards and a touchdown. And George Kittle had a touchdown. So spreading the ball around there. And then obviously Robbie Gould missing the field goal to win the game. But then he got another chance in overtime and won the game. But this Brock Purdy still did well. Like, he didn't do as well as he's been doing, but he still did well enough. Honestly,
I still
he
worry
just
that
feels
he's
like
going to make a significant playoff mistake that's going to cost them a game. That's what
Yeah.
I see happening.
Possible.
yeah.
But I
it
mean,
is.
here's a question though. 'Cause he's been playing really well,
yeah.
to be honest. What's going on? What do they do? Like, if say Brock Purdy goes into the playoffs here and maybe they even win a bit. Maybe they go kind of far.
Right.
What do you do with Trey Lance?
I think it is entirely dependent on their playoff performance. I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this coaching staff is seeing this regular season performance as a blip in the radar. If they want to be convinced that Purdy is the real deal moving forward, he needs to win playoff games.
Well, another
Yeah.
big thing is Trey Lance had another ankle surgery. I don't know if you guys saw that, but 2 days
No, I
ago,
didn't.
he had a second surgery due to irritation in his ankle. So for a quarterback that runs a lot, that is not good.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, like he's not even really getting to play and get reps in the game because like he's just hurt like for the whole year, and then who knows, like going into next year at this point with his ankle, like it's crazy. Like I know in basketball, Lonzo Ball with the Bulls he had like a knee surgery and then he had another knee surgery and like he's still not playing. Like sometimes these things just linger. You
Yeah.
know, like you don't know. So I mean, if we're at that point like next year and they're like, who's gonna be the starter? Like, I mean, if you already know Brock Purdy can play at a high level and high competition. So, like, why not just run with him? And then if he starts falling off, then you're like, all right, well, we got this guy here. You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's a weird situation, honestly.
Yeah.
Then we have
Legitimate controversy at quarterback.
yeah, but I guess the good kind.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oil for choice.
Yeah. Then we had the Jets fail miserably in Seattle, 23-6.
You know,
Well,
earlier
first of all,
in the-
Geno season. Just want to get that out.
That is true.
Geno,
Geno
it is
season.
Geno season, and you know what? I will. And look, I am hopeful for my friend Krendor to have his team make it to the playoffs. However, I realize that Geno season might inhibit that, and I am kind of rooting for Geno season as well.
I
So I feel like I'm rooting for both things, and I feel like
Yeah.
that should be allowed to be okay.
I mean, listen, it's, you've got. I know my team is staying in the way of the fun Lions and the Geno season. All right. But at least if we lose, I won't feel as bad because those are fun things.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, and also to state the scores you mentioned, we continue
Oh.
to fail to do. The
I did mention
Seahawks
it.
did win 20. Oh, you did? Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20-6. Yeah.
Yeah.
23 to 6. Yeah.
Mike
20,
White.
Yeah. Look. Okay, so Mike White was off all day, and he, again, especially considering this week, it makes you really wonder, considering the outcome of the game, whether or not it was really smart to make Mike White play or get Mike White back on the field here,
Yeah.
because he was clearly injured. He was clearly not at his 100%. But regardless, this has been a 5-game losing streak, a complete and total collapse at the end of the season. This is, I mean, yeah, we got very injured, but so did a lot of teams. I mean,
yeah.
and I mean, the Ravens they look like they're probably going to make the playoffs, and they're or are they already in? I think they're already in,
They're
right?
in, yep.
Yeah, and they haven't had their starting QB in weeks.
Yeah.
You know, this is, I mean, and here's another thing, all right? Because I mentioned that I was going to bring this up. The Lions, what do you know? They have an offensive coach, and their team, while they may not make the playoffs, similar to the Jets now, they score 40-plus points a game. You take a look at the New York Giants, who just broke their playoff losing streak of 6 years, with a first-year head coach, happens to be an offensive guy, formerly the offensive coach of the Buffalo Bills. Why the fuck are the Jets like the only team that hasn't got the memo that who gives a shit? Like, look, I like Sauce. Sauce is great. It's really fun to watch Sauce play. But we're not in the playoffs. And you know why? Because the offense can't consistently score more than like 15 fucking points a game. So I question, first of all, Mike LaFleur, our offensive coordinator, who somehow with an increase in talent has made the offense consistently worse year over year. Who also happens to have no success outside of the NFL, and no success in the NFL, but just so happens to be good friends of our coach, Robert Saleh, best man at his wedding, actually.
Ah.
Yeah, and I look, we're at the point now, I think, where next year's the last year for these guys, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it could take 1 year, Giants coach to turn around a franchise. It could take 2, could take 3. I mean, they've got this third year, and that's it, man. It's playoffs or they're done. I think at this point, right? I mean, this is this kind of collapse, and I guess maybe one final point.
It continues to be the case that once we defeated the Coins Magic with Mike White's superior magic in defeating the Bears where we were supposed to lose,
Yep.
the coin has continued to be 100% wrong. Meaning the reverse has been true completely.
So you get to win next week.
Yep. And this is and you know, I fully believe that's going to happen. You know why? Because I've seen this for the past 12 fucking years. The longest playoff drought now officially
Yep.
in the NFL as it stands. That this is what the Jets do. They win one or two meaningless games at the end of the season that completely fuck them. Like you know, a couple of years ago when Adam Gase they won that last game of the season, and boy oh boy, it's great because we only missed out on getting Trevor Lawrence and instead got the second best option, which has worked out so great so far, which is Zach Wilson. You know, so that's, man, it's been a wonderful time. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's Jet season's over. Granted, it's in week 17 now, so that's I guess
Different.
you could call it an different. It's different.
That's true.
To give you a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
and to not to think that to make you think that it's not same old Jets, is that yes, you went on a 5-game losing streak, but you went on a 5-game losing streak to Seattle, Jacksonville, Detroit, Buffalo, and Minnesota. 5 teams that are either good or have good records.
And if one of your players knew how to catch a football in the Minnesota game, they probably would have won it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
well, actually, that's a good point. And actually, to your point, Apollo, too, 3 of those teams were fucking dog shit, last year.
True,
Yeah.
but they are
And
really
our
good
team
now.
supposedly won the draft. Would you look at that? We won the draft. We have a top 10 defense. Isn't that great? Oh, oops, we're not in the playoffs because the team can't fucking get a fucking touchdown. But, you know, whatever, man. No, sorry. I'm sorry.
18 points a game on offense this year, by the way.
Yeah.
New York Jets.
Hey, you got Brees Hall though, and
Yeah, well, maybe. I
they were
mean,
like-
who knows how
just
he's
the
gonna be
irony
next
of like,
year.
dude, this guy's insane, and he's hurt.
Yeah, that if anything was Jets, that was Jets. That
That
was
is
the
Jets.
most Jets thing all season.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Oh, Jets.
I mean, it was also especially Jets that Geno Smith was the one to put us down.
That's
Yeah.
That's why
That's
last
also very
week when we
Jets.
were doing the pick'ems and you were like, oh, it's Geno versus the Jets, I was like, oh, I'm swapping the Seahawks. This is a Geno revenge game,
Yeah.
100%.
And he
Also,
played well.
He did play well. 183, 2 TDs. Kenneth Walker at 133 yards.
Yep.
Woo.
Started
TJ
the game
Dallas.
off with like a 40-yard run, and as soon as that happened, I was like, "Yeah, this game's over. That's it.
Yep.
That's I see which Jets it is. It's the same old."
Why why didn't the Jets use the quarterback guy again?
Ooh, you know, that's a great question. That is a great question, Krender. Why didn't we have a package for Chris Streveler? You know, actually, here's another question. Ty Johnson had 5.8 yards per carry, and yet he only touched the ball 8 times. Actually, here's another question. Our QB, Michael Hartwell White, he has ribs made of dust now. Why is he throwing the ball 46 times when we have a running back averaging 5.8 yards per carry? Good question. All great questions. All great questions that Mike LaFleur, I feel, has wonderful answers for.
Well,
Did you make up a middle name out of Fury?
It was a little bit. It's Walter White's middle name.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Look, you've been edging poor Krender. He wants to talk about the next game so
I know, I'm
bad.
sorry.
we got to move on. There's an important game coming up. The Green Bay Packers 41, the Vikings 17. Maybe the most fun football game I've watched the entire year. This was just, man, at first, the Vikings blocked the punt. You know, you're like, oh Jesus, here we go. And then it just proceeded to be just amazing. This could have been like the last game of the season and we missed the playoffs, and I'd been like, you know what, whatever. Like, now I know how the teams feel when they're like, we beat the Packers and that was our Super Bowl. Like, this would have been my Super Bowl. But now we got the actual Super Bowl. We're not gonna win.
No, The Vikings had more yards this game than the Packers. And the
Yes.
score is 41-17.
There's a lot of special teams nonsense that happened in this game,
Yeah.
especially in the first half.
Let me.
Wait, you tell me the Packers had good special teams?
I was
Yeah,
just
man.
shocked. So first
Well,
off,
it's mostly Nixon who's incredible. it
Keyshawn
seems.
Nixon, who has like the most return yards in the NFL, yet he's only played like 5 weeks. And more importantly, he doesn't fumble the ball 5 times in the first half of the season, which, you know, that's why some people are like, well, they didn't know about Nixon. He hadn't returned before, and it was like, that's not even the point. The point is that Amari Rodgers sucked ass. I would have rather had just anybody fair catching the ball and not trying to return it over Amari Rodgers. But either way, this was just first that like sparked it. Nixon gets 100-yard like kick return for a touchdown. Everybody's freaking out like, woo. Then here come the Vikings. They Kirk Cousins throws the ball. It gets tipped. It gets picked. Ran back for another touchdown. So a pick six, although not Cousins' fault. It was tipped and ran back. Then the Vikings try to get a field goal. They miss the field goal. The Packers get the ball back. They go down. They get a field goal because it doinks the crossbar and bounces in. So that already was just like it was fantastic. Then the Kirk Cousins Vikings again get picked off. I think it was another tip pass. Then Kirk Cousins got picked again because he threw. At that point he was just heaving the ball. He like threw it down. It was like to nobody. Then a second half begins. They're trying to like drive down the field. Kirk Cousins gets stripped at like the 25-yard line of Green Bay when it looks like they're starting to like mount the comeback, and you could just tell the life was sucked out. Which maybe it was just fantastic watching the Vikings just fall apart in this game. And then, people still being like, it's the Vikings. Here comes the big fourth quarter, except for the fact that the Packers aren't the Colts. They actually like to play football, and we actually just ran the ball, which shocked me because I was like, well, what are we going to do here? And we just ran the ball. Jones had 111 yards. Dylan had 41 and a touchdown. And it turns out the way you stop a team from coming back is you just run the ball. Who would have guessed it? Wow. And that was pretty much it. And then the Vikings got 2 like prevent defense garbage time touchdowns. I don't give a shit. And that was that.
Yeah, the Vikings are still going to win the Super Bowl.
They might.
Well, here's what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to show you the playoff.
Tom Brady was going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're both going to win the Super Bowl.
So the Packers are on fire. They're going to win. They're going to play against the 49ers and get absolutely shit on in the first round.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Then the Vikings are going to play the Giants. They'll probably beat the Giants. All right, I'll give them that. Then the Buccaneers and the Cowboys will play. Tom Brady will dark magic in the win. That puts Tom Brady against the Vikings. And Tom Brady will win that game. I'm going to tell you right now.
No.
Then the 49ers, the Eagles would actually play the... God, who would the Eagles play? Wait, would they? Oh,
Yeah, I
my
think it'd
God.
be
Wait,
the
the
Bucs.
Eagles would play the... Oh, Jesus. So
Tom Brady's definitely going to win that game.
That's an uber revenge game.
Then the Vikings would play the 49ers. Which,
Vikings win that game for sure. Because Brock Purdy makes a rookie mistake like you just alluded to.
That's true. And then it's Tom Brady versus the Vikings, and then Tom Brady wins. And then Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl, and then he wins.
I think it's actually going to be Bucks Vikings in the NFC Championship game.
I don't. It's kind of just a shit show to be. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I was already saying, everybody's like, oh, Packers make it and lose to the 49ers. I was like, dude, if any team is gonna beat the 49ers, it's gonna be this shitty ass Packer team that is like nobody expect. Like out of all the teams where I'm like, oh yeah, 13-3 Devontae Adams Packers. Oh yeah, the 14-win Packer, and they just get shit on by the 49ers. Watch this like garbage ass 8-9-8 Packer team just beat the 49ers.
8-9-8 Packers.
8-9-8.
That would be a lot of games.
It's I don't know what happened, but like this was the Packers just started winning. And it was like 2016. The same thing happened. It's like you got to run the table. They ran the table. Now we got to run the table and do it again. But now we're doing it because like not Aaron Rodgers, but like the other parts of the team are working. So
You know, you might have a secret kryptonite though in the playoffs that's burned you before, which is a
Special teams.
well. I mean,
our
yeah,
special team's been doing good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nixon was great, but the a Giants team that has limped into the playoffs.
Oh no, yeah, that's
That's true
true.
too.
Yeah,
But,
They've got some goober magic going on.
But
But they wouldn't play each other like.
yeah,
till
we
the-
wouldn't play till the championship game.
Yeah,
Right.
So
Yeah,
are you
I mean-
saying the Giants are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings, Rob?
Well, maybe. Yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll see how much goober energy Daniel Jones really has.
Yeah. I mean, I was just looking at a lot of these games. Like, no game feels definitive this year. Like, it's just so, it's like the actual season. Like, no game has ever felt like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I know this team will win. Like, it's a shit show. And I feel like
Yeah.
the playoffs are going to be a shit show, too, in terms of, like, knowing who's going to win a game. All I hope is that the Packers have the Nickelodeon game. That's all I want. I really just would love to see Patrick Starr talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So that was very fun. I had a great time. Then the Chargers beat the Rams.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was expected. Except
Yep.
Invicta picked the Rams. Yet again.
I can't understand that. I know he's not here to defend himself,
Yeah.
but I know it's two teams he doesn't want to pick, but
That's true. But I
Come
figured he
on,
would
man.
hate the Rams more. Like, I've heard him say, I'm never picking the Rams again, more than I've heard him talk about the Chargers.
I don't know. I feel like that was even a point is that people were razzing him over the Chargers this year. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it was the ultimate Invicta trap game for Pick'em.
It
There's
really
no
was.
winning for him.
the only other one would have been like the Saints somehow show up.
Yeah.
But the Baker Mayfield did okay. Cam Akers ran the ball, and Austin Eckler, 122 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Herbert with 212 and 2 touchdowns. So
Are the Chargers? The Chargers are clinched, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're-
they were clinched last week.
yep.
Right. Right.
Right now they're in the 5 spot.
Yeah, they're pretty much locked into their spot, I think.
Yeah, I think
You
they
know,
are.
they are a team that is also kind of quietly going into the playoffs that I don't think any of us believe in.
No, I don't believe in them at all.
I don't
no.
believe in
Yeah.
them at all. No.
I believe in them the most, and even then, I don't believe in them at all.
I will say, if they stayed at this spot, they would play the winner of the AFC South, which is a winnable game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Yeah.
It's the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
Yeah,
had
no faith in that squad at all.
yeah, no faith. Then we had the Steelers
Man,
beating the
oh
Ravens,
man.
16.
Give me that 1v4.
Yeah, I just didn't expect the Steelers to be able to do it, and for 3.5 quarters they weren't able to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this game is monumentally frustrating. Besides the win, everything except the win was
Yeah.
a nightmare. Because I mean, go to the stats and look at the yards. Like
Yeah.
the Steelers, I mean, the time possession 34 minutes to
Yeah.
25 minutes. The Steelers controlled the entire game, but only had 6 points.
Yeah.
It's maddening.
Oh yeah.
I mean, talk
John
about a
Madden.
red zone failure. I mean, we were 10 for 16 on third down. 10 for 16.
Wow. Yeah. That's
I've never
Najee
seen
had
a
a great game, dude.
Najee woke up. The second they took the plate out of his foot, he's been on it the whole season since. Like, it's been really good to see, and I'm happy because Najee's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm happy he wasn't, becoming a Trent Richardson, I guess, as some people were saying. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's look, we somehow the Steelers had, I think 2 weeks ago, a 0.25% chance of making the playoffs. It was just microscopic. And even this week, I think it was 0.5%. So it didn't even go up that much. And now it's I think like a 5%. So it's still really unlikely.
Yeah.
But man, what a world that the Steelers now potentially can make the playoffs. I mean, they need a win against the Browns. They need a Patriots loss to the Bills, and they need a Jets win over the Dolphins, which is not unrealistic because
it's guaranteed by
the-
magic that the Jets will beat the Dolphins, actually,
That's true.
so.
Yeah, it's insane to me. I'm just happy that the future of the Steelers in terms of players looks pretty good. I mean, shit, we have the Bears' second round pick next season too.
Yeah.
That's essentially like a first rounder at this point.
Yep.
Like it is looking good for the future. And Kenny Pickett still looks good if once we have a real offensive coordinator and not like a, whatever the hell Matt Canada is. Dude, watch out. I'm just saying the Steelers might be on the path to being real good for a real long time again. If Kenny even just improves a little bit more. I've been saying it the whole season.
Also, speaking of that, Chase Claypool apparently went a little crazy on the sidelines and was venting about his frustrations. As you might expect, after having weeks of 8 receiving yards, 11 receiving yards, 51, 28, and 0.
Oof.
So, yes.
I'm not going to shit on Chase Claypool. I'm just going to say maybe one of the best trades in terms of value in a while.
Yeah. No, getting practically a late first rounder for him seems insane. So
thank you, Chicago.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Bears. And with that, the Steelers somehow it's actually kind of funny because we go back like 5 weeks ago. Rob was just like, well, my team might be the only one in the playoffs, and now it's like
all of yours instead.
Yeah.
From
That
our
is-
like 2% chance to make the playoffs from like the Packers and the Steelers.
I let myself have a glimmer of hope again, which was I don't know. I don't know why I keep making.
What are you doing with that, Rob? Give me that. You know
Yeah.
that's mine.
I don't know why it's been 12 years and
This
it's like
is literally
it's
a
like
silly
Charlie Brown.
rabbit tricks for kids scenario. Like it's just what that is.
It's the girl pulling out the football at the last second from Charlie Brown every time, and it gets me. I still they managed to get me there at one point where I'm like, oh man, they might be able to. No. So
Silly Robert.
yeah,
Silly Rob.
playoffs are for
The real team. Man, that is what a week for playoff picture football, man. That is.
Oh yeah.
I never thought. Even when I was memeing it up, like Packers gonna bet. I didn't think. Now it's like we can just win and we've made it. It's
Literally winning in. You still have remarkably better odds than the Steelers do. We need a lot of help. But
Yeah.
well,
hey, this is literally the same thing that happened last year with the Steelers. They needed a lot of help and to win their last game. They barely beat the Ravens in their last game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the score was it might have been 16-13 actually or something like that. And then they needed the Colts to somehow lose to the Jags, which did happen. And then they needed that Raiders Chargers game to not end in a tie, which
Yeah.
apparently was closer than we all thought to happening.
Yeah.
I want to mention too because I brought this up earlier in the season, and I remember the consensus was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." But don't look now. Mike Tomlin might not lose his streak
Yeah.
of no losing
Insane.
seasons.
We were 2-6
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the bye week.
And they might end the season over 500 whether they make the playoffs or not.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna give you a little Packer hope here. All right, everybody loves that. When the Packers last made the playoffs like this, they went on to run the table. Right? They beat the Eagles. They beat the Texans. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Bears. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Lions. Exact same end of the year schedule, which is kind of weird. And then they beat the Giants 38-13 in the wild card. They beat the Cowboys in Dallas. That was the game where it was like a minute left, and then Rodgers came back, and then they won the field goal, and then got absolutely shit on by the Falcons in the championship. It was real bad, and I like to forget it. But that was the year Matt Ryan blew the extremely big lead in the Super Bowl. So without the
The
Packers,
second biggest lead of his career.
yeah.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, yeah, could you imagine? It would have been Cowboys Falcons. The Cowboys might have made it. You don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very funny too that the Steelers, just like last year, might limp into the playoffs to face the Chiefs and get absolutely creamed, just like last year.
Man, some things never change.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen. I watch the Steelers make it, Packers win, and then the 49ers and the Chiefs just win again.
Yep.
But you know what? It's making the playoffs. It's fun.
Oh, is it? Is it?
It is pretty fun.
good
So,
time.
Sinvicta is not here.
Oh,
they also don't have new power rankings.
Oh, yeah. We
Oh,
also don't have
wow,
new power
that's-
rankings,
Wow.
weird.
which I guess
Well,
because the game didn't happen.
makes sense, yeah.
So that would
And
make
actually,
sense.
I was just about to say too that we didn't mention this, but I'm seeing news here that the game will not be resumed this week, and
No.
they've made no decision regarding the possible resumption. I don't think that they should, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They are saying that there is a chance that if everything goes normally week 18, I think what people are thinking, and I think this is smart, is that they're going to have week 18, and then if week 18 shapes up that the Bills-Bengals game no longer matters, they just won't play it.
Yeah.
But if it does, they might have a week 19 and just play that game that week.
Yeah. Honestly, that would probably be the best way to go about it.
Personally, I don't think those players should have to meet each other again in that, especially because it's that game. I think
Well, I mean, they
call
could
it a
see each
tie.
other in the playoffs at this point.
no, I know, and that's what I mean. Is like I don't under these circumstances, like because all the players, all the coaches are going to know why they're playing that makeup game, right? And
Right.
I mean, depending on how things shake out, I don't know. I think it
Well, the
would be
hardest
better
part
to
of
just
that
call
is
it a
that
tie.
if you call it a tie, then the Bills lose their home field advantage against the Chiefs. So then you have to go to Kansas City instead of Buffalo. I think that's the biggest thing of why people want the game to be played still. But obviously, the game
Yeah.
doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But like in terms of it mattering, it does matter quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do think that would probably be the best because like having a week 19, like people would understand. Like just do it. It gives everybody time to, like kind of accept everything that's happened. It's been weeks have gone by. Like playing the game this week would be, you can't do that. Like not at all. That would just be inhumane.
Again, it's a question of whether or not they might even play the Patriots game, the
Yeah.
Bills Patriots this week.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That would be
it's-
a logistical fucking nightmare.
I feel like they would want to
That
play
too.
for him, honestly. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they would like that's part of the reasons I think the Bills would actually win this game. I think they would play for him. Like I think they would just want to do that.
Oh, we don't.
I think it depends on what happens in the next 2 days.
Yeah, it does also
Like-
depend.
we didn't.
I-
We didn't. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, this is morbid, but this is just kind of the truth. Like, if he ends up being okay and nothing bad happens, then they'll probably play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if things go south,
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they should be.
No, they
Yeah,
shouldn't.
No.
We didn't talk about this, but like because there's been conflicting things, but like the NFL's handling of this whole situation, I mean, was like fumbled out of the gate, and we're not sure exactly what's been going on behind the scenes, but I'm sure that were a lot of people yelling over the whole cancellation of the game even happening in the first place.
No, we have no
yeah.
idea. Like, we can assume based on who the NFL is what probably happened, but I don't know if we'll ever know what actually happened because
Probably not.
the people are saying that the NFL said 5 minutes. The NFL saying they didn't say 5 minutes.
Right.
And it's just kind of up in the air. Who knows what actually happened?
Yeah.
I don't think that matters much anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very weird week,
Yeah.
regardless.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do pick 'em stats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bonus stats.
Yeah, let's just do some bonus stats. So,
All right.
we've got a week of good picking for me. I went 12-4 as I have surpassed Rob in
Yep,
the pick 'em
yeah.
stat rankings.
Hits just keep on coming. Keep on coming.
12-4. Sinvicta went 10-6. Rob went 10-6. Bear went 11-5. Apollo went 11-5. Randy went 4-12. Discord 10-6, and Greg went 9-7. Our assistant coach.
Greg and I both losing our Eagles lock this week,
Yep.
which, geez, 94% of the Discord going along with us
Yep.
on that one.
In
too.
fact,
You
the
Yeah.
only
blamed
Saints
me
pick
for it.
was Randy. What a win there for
One of
Randy.
his 4 wins. Yeah.
So we got pickups and put downs. The Titans were unanimously picked against this week after being unanimously picked to win last week. It is the third time this has happened to the Titans this year. No other team has done it more than once, and they are 0-3 in these games.
That is an incredible statistic.
That's a wonderful
hilarious.
That
bonus
is
fact.
amazing.
Now I
That is
know
real good.
that if the Titans are unanimously picked, I will change my pick. But then
Yeah.
everyone else will change their pick, and then I'll have to do it again.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Inconceivable.
Tree Toppers Discord had the best record through December this year and 8th best December of all time. Listen, they only have one game on me, all right?
Yeah, we're all pretty close
I
up
was
there.
right
It's a
there.
5-game difference.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on.
I'm only down 3. Or no, I'm 5.
Apollo Invicta a couple games back. Randy actually tied with them, and then
Yeah.
Rob and Bear at the bottom. Nested interest. Bear continues to predict the Ravens very well at home this season, 7-1. Less on the road at 2-6.
Oof.
Oh, interesting.
Bears got those
Also,
Raven
I
home games.
I like the Raven with the bear
Oh,
top
yeah.
hat.
Oh,
monocle.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
That's great.
This ain't it.
This is
Apollo
upsetting.
ends a 13-game streak of predicting Saints games.
Ooh.
This ties
On
the
this
third.
game, man, like this was a
On this game.
freebie.
Yeah, that hurts.
This
Ooh.
ties the third longest streak for any team in podcast history. Sinvicta 16, 14 active, and then Krendor Apollo 13.
Wow.
Yeah, someone has a 14 streak right now.
Oh,
and there's
that's
no
wild.
hints that I can see in this.
We don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
I just want to say, I want to toot my own horn a little bit. 13 games for a team like the Saints. I think that's really
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good, yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like the Chiefs or the Bills or it's the Saints, man.
Well, we don't know what the active streak is. It might be
True.
like the Jaguars or something.
That's true, yeah, it could be. Except it's not.
It's definitely not. yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's also not me, so let's just rule that out.
Yeah. It's,
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's me.
It's got to be a
Look-
team like the Chiefs, right?
Well, it could,
Well, no,
it could
because
still be
the-
Apollo, right?
There's no way anyone, none of us predicted the Chiefs Colts game right?
Oh,
I think we all picked the Chiefs, so it can't be the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's right.
It literally, I think, like it could still be Apollo, right? Like it could be literally.
Yeah, no, it could be. I don't know if it is, but I do have the best like Discord record, so or Pick'em's record, so it is likely
Most
me.
likely, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows?
Well, actually, Chiefs, Colts, that was only like week 3, right? And now we're in week
Oh, true. Wait, it
17,
could
so
it
it's
could be the
14?
Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
make sense. The
But
math
didn't
checks
the-
out.
Who did the Chiefs lose? They lost one more game in that stretch. I gotta know now. Who was it? I can't find the Chiefs.
Was it
symbol
Bengals?
for
It was
some
Bengals.
reason. Oh,
Bengals,
right.
yeah.
The Bengals.
I wonder
Did you
if-
pick the
if that
Bengals?
was- I don't think I picked the Bengals.
Consult the stats.
Should we get
Yeah.
a stat vehicle?
Stat vehicles.
Stat
Woo!
checking.
Many, many stat vehicles in our fleet.
How many weeks ago was that? I can find it.
It was like 4 or 5, I think.
Let's see. Was this Bengals Chiefs? Bengals Chiefs. It was actually only Krendor who picked the Bengals.
Oh,
Interesting. Maybe it's Krendor.
Maybe it's Grandor.
Maybe
it
it's
is me. Actually,
I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe I picked the Chiefs correctly. Wait, no, I picked the Jaguars to beat the Chiefs. Can't be me. I don't know what it is. All right, well,
It's a mystery.
it's a
Interesting.
mystery.
When you guess who?
And then finally, with a week of divisional matchups on deck, here's how everyone is picked in divisional games. Apollo the best at 67.5%.
Wow.
Sinvicta 61.3, Bear 57.5, Discord 57.5, Rob 51.3, Krendor 51.3, and Randy 48.8.
We're only slightly better than a coin, Krendor.
Yeah, which means Randy should have like a 52% win rate this week, right? Or 51.2?
That sounds right.
Yeah. I don't know enough about math to dispute.
Oh, no,
you.
it means in his non-divisional games he has a 52%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. overall.
Then, yeah, as you can see here on the old graph, I am slightly above Rob now. Yeehaw.
This is really.
I think I win. Like unless I have a fucking
think you got it.
catastrophic week,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I win.
Yeah, I think you did win.
Good job.
You know?
Good job, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, being ahead since week 3 and never losing the lead really does
Okay,
a lot
now
for
you're
my
just
ego.
come on, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
In fact, I was
yeah.
only behind for 1 week, and that was week 2.
Good
otherwise.
God! All right, somebody
So-
You
mute
know,
this guy.
I just want to say it's been a low year for me in a lot of ways.
All right. So
Thank you, Rob.
well,
That's very funny. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
we also had Pixelhaven giving us another little tidbit.
Yeah.
As a follow-up to last week's mystery bonus stat, the guys were able to correctly guess 4 of the 5 teams that have not been locked against this season. Chiefs, Vikings, Ravens, Eagles. The team that they missed was the Chargers.
It was one of those blue teams, man. We
Yep.
didn't know which
Yeah.
blue one it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, never locked it. I mean, yeah, they're the weird one, I guess. It's
I mean,
scary to
they're
lock
10
against
they're
the
10 and
Chargers.
6, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they're good teams.
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't believe as we mentioned,
But we
do
don't
not
believe them,
them.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
in
we don't
any
believe
way.
them.
Yeah,
Not at all.
makes sense.
And they play the Broncos this week.
Oh, so yeah, it won't be that streak will continue.
Yeah.
Stay, yeah.
So here we go. Pick 'em.
Oh,
Oh, we got a Pick'em's guest this
We
week,
do
of course.
have a
Oh,
Pick'em's guest
yeah.
this week.
It is. I definitely had it. It's Rubber Ducky.
there it is.
Rubber Ducky.
Rubber Ducky.
Hold on.
Rubber Ducky has exercised their right to a conditional pick this week, saying they're
Oh.
picking the Jets unless Tua is playing. In which
Ah,
case,
okay.
Okay.
Rub-
I think Rubber Ducky might be a Rams fan.
seems to
It's
be the case.
possible.
Yeah.
That looks to be a custom Rams logo, though. Perhaps
does.
it's
Oh.
drawn by Rubber Ducky themselves,
I
I
think-
suspect.
Actually,
I
I
think
think,
it's drawn over the logo, isn't it? I
Maybe,
can't
Hold
tell.
yeah.
on here.
I'm not sure.
I think that is from. There's a guy on Reddit that does a bunch of those. Like it's from him. The
Ah,
Corn Doggy. There's a guy named Corn
Yeah.
Doggy, and he does a bunch of those types of things. I think it's one of his because he does.
I like that.
some-
That's cute.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be so
it's-
funny if Rubber Ducky's like, no, I just drew this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rubber Ducky's best predicted teams include, unsurprisingly, the Chiefs at 13-2, the Ravens at 12-3, and the Broncos 11-4. A pretty impressive prediction record for the Broncos, especially this year.
Yeah.
See, hold on.
Yeah.
There's some Corn Doggy ones you've seen. He does a very cute one. Like he does. Here's that.
Are you just?
He's
I'm
just showing
linking
it.
him. I'm
Yeah,
just linking him to
yeah.
everybody.
He's showing us images on a podcast.
Yeah, just show some
Yeah.
podcast images.
Show and tell. Here's another cool one I
there's
like.
some birds and
If you want to be featured just like
He
Rubber
missed a
Ducky
good
is for
one.
our assistant coach of the week, make sure you check out the Patreon page where you can pledge $5 and be included in that assistant coach role. Get the role link in the Discord, and then make sure you message Hippo Nora or Pixelhaven on the Discord, and they'll get you included in that drawing for the
Yeah.
assistant coach of the week.
indeed,
Those you see, they are very cute.
they are cute.
I agree.
Those are good.
They're very good.
Those are
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
So we got Pick'ems today.
Grandpa Crandor.
All right. First game is Chiefs Raiders Saturday.
Chiefs.
Oh, is it?
That's the Chiefs.
So I was
Chiefs,
looking at
that's
the
Chiefs.
list that of the. Hold on.
Yeah, those are out of order for some reason, but yeah,
Oh yeah, the list is out of order a little bit.
Oh wait, no, it's just missing the Chiefs game.
no, that's on there.
Oh, it's all the way down there. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's in the middle for some reason.
Oh, it's different because when they made this, the schedule's to be determined until.
Oh, yeah, I got
so
the
this
flex,
is the to be
that's right.
determined.
Flex.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The Chiefs, though,
but yeah,
for
I
sure.
will take the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Everyone's taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, Rubber
Yeah,
Ducky
I
taking
mean,
the
it's-
Chiefs as well.
it's
Yep.
gonna be the Chiefs.
I'll tell you that Invicta's probably also taking the Chiefs.
Probably
yeah.
the Chiefs. Yeah.
Although Jarrett Stidham.
Don't you
Chiefs.
No.
start this already. Aim one of the pick'ems, damn it.
No one's gonna lock this. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Well, it's Jarrett Stidham. That's why.
I'll have it as a reserve lock then.
Yeah.
Titans Jaguars.
Titans, Jaguars. This is.
I mean,
gonna
I gotta
be
pick the
interesting.
Jags. I gotta believe in them.
I have to pick the Titans simply to stick with my preseason prediction of them being in the Super Bowl,
Oh,
even though
you're
that
right.
is just a
That's
completely
right.
fucking
No,
outside
no,
shot
no,
at this
no, no.
point.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I'm
Although,
taking the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I will also take the Jags. But I
Alright.
mean, you never know. It's divisional.
It is divisional. You never know.
It is.
All of these are divisional,
Yeah,
right?
they are
Yeah.
all divisional.
Yep.
I was also
Rubber Ducky
waiting
took
to
the Jags
see.
as well.
I was
Yep,
waiting
yep,
to see
yep,
if it was a unanimous Titan selection.
Oh yeah.
But we're safe now. We're safe. Okay. Ravens, Bengals.
Bengals.
Give me the Bengals here, yeah.
Yeah, Bengals.
Yeah, I'll take Bengals. Although, is Lamar coming back? He might just wait till the playoffs, honestly.
I
should
can't
probably-
imagine.
Yeah,
they
they
don't-
Oh wait, no. Well, see, this is the weird game because if the Bengals had lost on Monday, this would be for the division actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why this one's kind of weird now. But
Yeah.
I will pick the Bengals, assuming the game is played.
Even if Lamar plays outside of all.
Yeah, no,
I'd still think
I've been
the
saying
Bengals.
even if Lamar plays, the Bengals still suck.
Yeah. Brown Steelers.
Gotta be the Steelers, man. Like I gotta pick. I gotta believe in them in the final game as much as it
Hey,
scares
you know what?
me.
I'll go Steelers as well.
I'll go Steelers too.
Yeah,
I believe
go
in Mike
Steelers,
Tomlin,
yeah.
to be honest.
Rubber document Steelers as well.
Yeah.
Steelers.
Vikings, Bears.
Vikings.
Oh.
Come on.
You're saying come on, man, but come
Come
on,
on!
man. I mean, I'm
It's
gonna
the
pick the
goddamn
Vikings,
Bears.
but like, dude, you are.
It's gonna be a one possession game. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like
Yeah,
it's
it's gonna
the
be
Bears.
decided by.
And it's going to be a fourth quarter comeback.
Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins is somehow gonna catch a 40-yard pass from Justin Jefferson,
Right, yeah.
and it's
It is in
Seven-yard
Chicago.
Vikings are gonna win. Yeah, that's all that really matters, right? The Vikings are gonna get a W.
Yeah. Vikings win, I think.
It seems
Yeah.
to be that the strategy, which is what I predicted against the Vikings, is you shut down Justin Jefferson and everything else falls apart.
Yeah,
which-
well, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's a great, I mean, that's a great. If you also don't let them hold the football at all, then they wouldn't.
that's
You
all.
know,
that's
yeah, I'm
true.
just
That's
saying,
what
it's
they
easier
did.
said
They
than
ran the
done.
ball. They didn't let them get back after.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Which, honestly, like, we joke, but when you play, like, the 49ers who can do that, or, like,
Yeah.
the Giants can even potentially do that, or, I mean, Tom Brady's just, dark magic, so he can do it. He'll just will his, like, they'll be like, this is 8th round rookie. They created a new round for a player to be drafted for Tom Brady's team, and he's going to be guarding Jefferson. Wow, he just shut him down all day. It's crazy. Which, by the way, shout out to Jair Alexander for covering him. My God,
Yeah.
fantastic. He also, there was like a big thing with that because he was doing the gritty, and then Justin Jefferson was like, he should be called for a penalty, and then everyone was like, dude, you've like did the gritty all year.
Yeah, dude,
So-
Jefferson's kind of being a little bitch too.
So, it was-
So is this all unanimous picks except for one Titans pick?
Yeah, looks like it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going Viking.
Yeah.
I think the
Well,
Vikings
we don't know.
will-
We don't know about Sinvicta.
Oh, I know about
Yeah, it's
Sinvicta.
true.
He's gonna agree with all these, I think.
He probably
Yeah,
will.
probably.
Patriots, Bills.
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 100%.
Bills. Yeah. Well, I mean, again.
Well, we
If
don't know
it's
if this game's
played.
gonna be played. We
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
know, but we'll pick assuming it's played. But
Yeah.
This is Bills from Rubber Ducky as well.
Jets, Dolphins.
see, this is where I think the dream for the Steelers dies. I think the Dolphins are still gonna win somehow.
No, the coin has.
That's
I was
true.
gonna
It's coin.
say, yeah, we've got pretty definitive evidence of the.
I'm
coin
gonna
being
hedge my
yeah.
bets and assume that the Steelers will win, the Bills will win, and I'm gonna pick the Dolphins so that even if I'm utterly crushed, at least I will get a pick'ems win.
That's true.
So I am tempted now that Krendor has surpassed me to just say fuck it and lock the Jets because of the
Oh.
coin here.
Well, you could still repass Krendor. It's
That's
only a 2-game
that's
difference.
the other consideration.
He's already
is
picked
that-
the Titans for some reason, so you
I
might
picked
already
the
be one
Titans.
game. Wait, didn't
That's a
you?
good point.
No, Bear picked the Titans.
picked
I
the
Oh,
picked the
Bear
Jets.
picked it.
Ah,
Oh, okay. I knew someone very foolishly picked the Titans.
Yeah,
I
it was
just didn't
Bear.
know who it was.
I am taking the Jets here, though.
Yeah, I'll take the Jets, and we'll see. I might double back and lock them if I really throw caution to the wind.
Bear, what did you pick?
Go with that one. That was
They
oh,
were
I don't.
Jets.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with them. So we'll go with Jets.
Yeah, Rubber Ducky picked the
Good,
Jets.
I'll take
They
a
did.
potential 1v4.
Okay. Buccaneers, Falcons.
I'm
It's a
taking the Bucks.
meaningless game. It is a meaningless game. So
I'm going to take the Bucks anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fuck. I guess the Falcons might win. It doesn't really matter.
I'll take the Bucks just because I don't know, and I'll I'm gonna go safe so that I secure my victory.
I'll take the fun 1v4 here against
There you go.
everybody and the assistant coach who also picked the Bucks.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
Panthers Saints.
Panthers.
A very meaningless game. My Saints spree has been ruined, but I still apparently am very good at picking them. Yeah, honestly, give me the Saints.
I think the Panthers are going to win because I think they have more to prove.
I kind of agree. I think I'm going to go Panthers.
They have more team spirit right now.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Sam Darnold is going to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rubber Ducky
Panthers
because
have a good run game, and
No.
the Saints shut down the Eagles' run game. It's I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's Alvin Kamara's real good, so stay some help. But
Pretty good running back there.
pretty good. Pretty good. Rubber Ducky, as Bear mentioned, took the Saints.
Yep. Texans.
Oh,
Colts.
geez, just skip it.
Yeah.
I'm voting
Reminder
to skip.
that these teams tied the last
They did
time they
literally
played.
tie.
Oh God, you're right.
I'm gonna predict a tie. Second
Yeah.
tie of the season between these two teams.
That would
you know
be
what?
hilarious. Has that
I'm
ever
going to go with a
happened?
tie as well. This
Yes!
is let's go.
Everybody pick a tie.
I kind of want to.
No, you guys
Fuck
can.
Pickham's crown. He can throw
You
away
can
one
settle.
game.
I'm not settling. No, I can't. I need to be safe here, man.
I do also want to beat Krendor.
But I don't know who to pick. Is the thing. That's
Pick a
that's.
tie. You pick chaos.
Oh God! Like my heart says Texans, but my brain says Colts. Who do I trust here?
My gut says Texans. I'm gonna go Texans.
These are
Both these teams got fucking crushed by teams.
They're
so
both
I-
horrible. They're
I'll,
horrible.
I'll just say Colts, man. I don't know. Well, who? No, but like who's quarterback? Texans.
All right.
Yeah. Davis
Texans.
Smiths.
Yeah.
Cardinals 49ers.
49ers.
I'm gonna lock the 49ers.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I
started
was
saying the
thinking about
sentence, and then he said the sentence faster.
He did say the
Yep.
sentence faster.
I forgot. This was the game I wanted to lock the whole time. I just didn't realize it was coming up.
Yeah.
That's a Niners win, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's,
it's Niners.
that's our assistant coach's pick as well.
100%.
Yep. Yep.
Cowboys Commanders.
Give me the boys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Are the boys playing for anything?
No, but they're still
Uh,
gonna win.
They are the top wild card, and that cannot change. They are not playing for anything. This
Yep.
might be our starters rest type
This
deal.
could be a starter.
But
that.
it also happens to be Rubber Ducky's lock.
I was gonna say,
Oh.
despite that, Rubber Ducky feels fairly confident.
Yeah,
about
but this is a meaningless game for both teams.
Yep.
I will still pick the Cowboys
it. Yeah.
because I mean Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Cooper Rush
If he
still good.
plays, I still think the Cowboys win.
Yeah, I'm
He
going
shows
to go
up, dude.
Cowboys. And it's probably another Carson Wentz game.
Oh right, yeah. No, that pretty much solidifies it.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rams Seahawks.
Locking the Seahawks,
Let's
baby.
go.
Thus begins the
Geno
official
season.
second half of Geno fucking season.
Oh baby.
As much as I want the Seahawks to lose so the Lions can get in, I think the Seahawks are gonna win.
Yeah.
Lock
Yeah, I
them,
think-
lock them Hawks.
Part of me thinks the Rams are going to win. I'm not
They
even going
might.
I just, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll pick the Rams.
Oh my god.
All right.
I don't know why.
Counter lock.
There's that. Maybe the divisional juice is getting drank, but I feel like that's gonna happen.
I'm also going to say, looking at the next couple of games, I'm going to lock the Chiefs. In retrospect.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Giants Eagles.
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 Yeah, Eagles got
Eagles.
to win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do they have to win?
Giants
And-
are locked
How
in.
many I means are there going to be this week, man?
Eagles do have
Well,
to
it's-
win.
You
If
know,
the
it's
Eagles
so
weird.
lose and the 49ers and Vikings win, like the
Well, no,
Eagles,
they have the tiebreaker against the Vikings. They beat them
Oh yeah, the 49ers.
But they still have to win another game at least in order
for
to
the,
get
in order to secure it against the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But Hurts is still out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So
I mean,
And they want the first round bye so that he can get better. So
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you know what? Rob might be kind of right here because the Eagles kind of got exposed
Got shit
last
on.
week. Yeah. Oh boy.
Dude, don't
Giants,
look now.
I think, are locked in.
They're locked
They
in.
are
That's
locked
fine.
in. Yes.
Oh, you know, okay.
But they're
yeah,
not going to
never
be
mind.
sitting. They're not benching anyone.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they're
they're
not
not
going to be
Oh,
benched.
certainly
but
not. But they're not
the
playing.
Eagles have
Yeah.
more to play for. Yeah.
Yes, I think it'll be the Eagles.
Don't look now. But
Ducky went with the Eagles as well.
when the Packers won the Super Bowl, the wild card matchup was against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. And if this happens,
Yeah.
they'd play in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So you're going to pick the Giants just off of that?
Yep.
No, I think the Eagles are going to win. Chargers, Broncos.
So this is one of Ducky's best predicted teams, actually, in the Broncos at 11-4.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll with them immediately and go with the Chargers here.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
That was actually the first thing I noticed. on
The Chargers are still playing for the top wild card spot
Yeah.
against the Ravens, so they have something to play for. Chargers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to lock the Chargers.
That's a
inside.
good one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't walk against them.
No. The Broncos are well.
Yeah, not so good.
They
Well,
did play
it's
the
gone.
Chiefs pretty well. You know what?
Lock the Broncos. Do it.
Is he gonna change?
Change
No,
your lock to
don't-
the
don't.
other team you were going to lock.
Ron wants you to lose so he can pass you.
I
all I'm
would
saying.
like it.
I'm just saying.
I think it's a good idea, frankly.
No, I'm gonna keep it.
No, I mean, look, if the spark
I don't think
near
you're
a
convinced,
horse,
huh?
I think the horse wins. I'm just saying.
Horse versus lightning? Are you sure about that?
Well, we're not so sure it's lightning,
Horse
especially this year. I
versus
think it might be like
lightning.
a
Just
like
because
a-
it's called
like a
horsepower
wire
doesn't
with
mean
a-
they're like connected to electricity. All right.
I mean,
Anyway, game of the
Anyway,
week.
game of the
Yeah.
week. Flex to Sunday night. Lions, Packers.
I
I'm
have
going
to
Packers.
believe in the Lions. I'm picking the
Okay.
Lions.
All right.
Just to clarify, this is Packers winning there in 100%.
correct.
right?
100%.
Yes, in Lambeau, but
In Lambeau.
I believe in the Lions.
Rubber Ducky also believes in the Lions.
Here's the issue: is that the referees they're gonna do something. They're gonna be like
They're going to show up at the game, too. Yeah.
Lions.
Yeah, they are going to want the Lions to
Progress.
lose.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's. I think there's too many things. The Packers are rolling. I feel like it's just. I'm going Packers, but
I'm picking the Lions because I have to have the Packers lose in order for Geno season to be enabled.
that's
so
true.
sorry, I have to
Understandable.
sacrifice Green Bay for that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
thought
I also-
of locking this game, and then I was like, I still don't believe that they're gonna do
Wait,
it. but-
wait. They will know if they're in or not.
Yeah,
I might
they
switch to
will
the
know.
Packers because I think the Seahawks are going to win. And I think the Lions won't have anything to play for anymore.
But-
Oh, right. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm actually going to switch to the Packers for
Dude,
that
what a
reason.
disaster. No, Geno's season is over already. Oh, shit.
It's
No, the Lions are still going to show up.
They'll still-
because
it's a Dan
the Lions would
Campbell
love to
That's
knock
true.
the
Yeah, honestly,
Packers
I
out of
think
the.
their incentive to fuck up the Packers season might be higher than their incentive to succeed.
yeah.
It's also
True.
that Dan Campbell's gonna have this team motivated, like just from being
Yeah.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I'm going to change to the Packers, though, regardless, because
okay,
of that.
All right.
all right.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, what did you pick, Krendor?
Well, I'm picking the Packers. Listen, I'm all dead set on the Packers losing to the 49ers in the
No,
playoffs.
I'm just trying to retrieve some dignity on the season, and I have to pick against you a lot of the time in order for that
It's
to happen. So I
understandable.
have
Yeah,
to pick
this is
the
a good one.
Lions.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Lions.
All
There
right.
you go.
there you go. And now we have Randy.
Randy.
Randy. There we go. Randy has picked the Raiders.
Wow,
Not again, Randy.
believes in the system.
He's picked the Jaguars.
Okay.
Okay. He's picked the Ravens,
Uh-oh.
Okay.
the Elves,
Randy, come on.
the
Don't kill me
Bears,
like that. Randy.
Wow.
Boy.
the Bills,
Okay.
Okay.
the New York Football Jets,
There he goes.
Yeah.
the Buccaneers,
Mm-hmm.
the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is reasonable.
the Texans,
I
He's
think that's
going
a-
wild.
the Cardinals.
No,
Oh,
Randy.
Randy.
Oh, God, Randy. The Commanders.
Randy.
Randy.
The Rams.
Randy.
Randy.
The Eagles.
Okay. I
The
mean,
Broncos
What? Randy!
and the Packers.
Oh,
Can
man,
you
he's gonna
guys
have a good lock.
imagine if Randy locks the Broncos?
He might. Didn't he do that last week? Did he,
He
lock the
did,
Broncos?
yeah. He locked the
Yeah.
Broncos last
Yeah.
week.
And he has locked the Ravens.
Ravens over the Bengals. Wow.
Yep, that's a Randy lock.
I thought you said bagels, and
He's locked the bagels.
Ooh, I'm hungry.
They should get a bagel team.
I too
want
am
a bagel
hungry.
pizza.
So
Yeah. ooh.
thank you everybody for listening to this week of football. Here is
There you
a
go.
Yeah,
oh, that's
well, I
singing
don't
now.
know
You
if
have to go,
There's a list of all the people that are Patreon supporters. Thank you very much. You should check out our Patreon. Very fun. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Oh, Star Wars.